Welcome back to What Time Is It? I'm your host, Jeff Reese, joined by my co-host, Chuck Majorana. And today, who the hell are you?
Oh my gosh. All right, so I am officially the newest purple belt at Gracie Annie.
Yes, sir.
Buddy.
Because Kristen.
Yeah, buddy. Hold on. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Come on.
Let's go.
That's right. All right. That's enough of that.
Kristen got hers the day before mine,
Yes.
so that means that I'm the newest.
You are the newest and freshest.
That's, you're right.
Yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
I am sometimes. But yeah, I mean, also for people that don't know me, I am a licensed professional counselor. I have been for a while. I work with a wide range of clients. Before all of that, something that some people may or may not know too is that I was a strength and conditioning coach, and I was a Olympic weightlifting coach. And so, in starting Jiu-Jitsu, seeing what coaching principles transfer from one to the other, right?
Yeah.
And then applying, essentially the human condition and like normal human emotions that come up within training. This is stuff that like I found fascinating from day one, really,
Right.
with you guys and the academy. So, that's sort of the stuff I'm thinking about talking about today. I don't know where you guys are going.
Wherever you want to go.
Today.
We're just have a free flow conversation, but I'm going to tease some things, right?
Yeah.
So we have, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, licensed. I'm going to say it wrong, but counseling therapy.
Yep.
Vegan.
Yep.
Animal activist. Mayor, political
boy.
advocate, right? Strength and conditioning. You have a very broad and diverse path that you have created your life around. So we have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just start with kind of what inspired you. So let's start this way. Let's start chronologically. What came first? The counseling, the veganism, the strength and conditioning. The mayor's very new and the purple belt's very new.
Right.
What kind of first came along? Obviously, you had to go to school for the counseling and all that. So maybe that's what came first.
No, actually. So I got my bachelor's in psychology. I graduated in 2012 with my bachelor's.
God, that's a baby. You're
Yes.
you're so young.
Yeah,
I know,
2012.
baby
Oh my
face.
God. Graduated from college?
In 2012, yeah.
I'm old. I'm so old. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
I was born
you.
in 1989, so we
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Well, we're all bald, so
Yeah,
we all look
there's
good.
that.
Yeah.
We don't age.
Hey, first of all, I shaved mine. Calm down. I
Okay.
could grow
All
a
right.
beautiful
Okay.
head of hair.
All right. All
and
right.
if you make me inlay the picture of my high school picture with my hair helmet, I will do it, just so you know.
Just so you know.
Well, then I'm expecting something when I leave
All
this
right.
podcast
You never
today.
know.
So,
You
so
never
we
know.
graduated in 2012.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. At the time, I was really into CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting and stuff. I had a bit of a knack for it. Strength was always something that kind of came easy to me, and but not so easy that I was a national competitor. I was never good enough for that. I was always the best of the worst weightlifters or the worst of the best ones, whichever
way you want to look at that, yeah.
And so I was always really good at talking to people and teaching, and so I kind of just went down this path of becoming a coach. And so I had the real honor to intern under one of the USA's weightlifting Hall of Fame coaches, Bob Tucano. So I spent about a month and a half in LA with him. I was one of his first official interns, and that led me to getting a certification with USA Weightlifting, where at the time I got to spend time at the Olympic Training Center for a little while, learning how to coach, and I was effectively working with some of the top athletes in the entire country who were preparing for, at the time,
awesome.
at the time, the 2016 Olympics. And so I was doing all that, and then I got home from all of this stuff, traveling, learning. So I opened my own gym. So I had an Olympic weightlifting gym. I was working with athletes in strength sports, but also just in, whatever sports were in the area. So a lot of D3 college athletes I was working with. I had the opportunity to coach several athletes to the national level, a couple national medalists. And
In what sport?
in Olympic weightlifting.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that was kind of where I had hit a peak. And at that point, I realized that I'd turned my hobby into my business, and that was not something that was long-term feasibly for me. So I went back to school, and I went to grad school for counseling. At the time, I was working in a bachelor's level clinical position and running the gym at the same time, and going to school for grad school at night.
It's
Right.
a lot.
Yeah.
So
Juggling a lot of plates there.
yeah, and
Or spinning plates, I should say, like Red Panda.
and at that time,
Yeah, you saw the video. She's awesome. She goes,
Yeah.
she like performs at halftime.
Great.
so at that time, the catalyst that what led me to Jiu-Jitsu was when I was in this big transition period. At the time, someone that I had known got physical with me, and he had pushed me up against a car. I had no idea what to do, and I felt like being able to deadlift 500 pounds, clean and jerk 330.
You were strong.
I was a strong big boy. I could move a lot of things. It meant nothing
In that moment.
in that moment. And it was so defeating. It was you go through a bit of ego death, and you go through this thing. I'm 28 years old. How am I letting some guy push me around, right?
Yes.
You mentioned the veganism thing. I'm actually, the day I got my purple belt was my 10-year vegan anniversary.
Wow. Okay, then. All right. Let's hit this
Yeah,
again.
how about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Told you this thing was cool. All right, there. There you go.
Yeah, we need to put a woo girl one in there, though.
Right?
Yeah, we really should.
really should.
You know, you could load any sounds in here. So I'm really the first one is I love the Austin Powers movies, Ace Ventura, Austin Powers, some of my go-tos. And every time in normal conversation, anytime we're trying to say like something's regular or standard, I always go pretty standard. Really.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, so I want to get that Dr. Evil pretty standard sound on here. But yeah, you could load any sound in here you want. But go ahead.
No, I could think of a few.
Yeah, right.
Me too.
So, that part of my life, I had always been into animal rescue. And then I had a buddy of mine who said like, well, hey, if you're rescuing animals, why don't you just stop eating them? So I said, all right, how about that?
That?
The next day I just stopped consuming animal products, and I really haven't looked back. And
Okay.
so how that
Something
fits
I
into
didn't
all
know.
of this, but
Well,
yeah, I mean,
Now we've laid all the teasers, right?
Yes.
So we've laid all the teasers. So let's focus on your journey through your counseling career. Right? So you graduate, go back to school.
yep.
Where does now, was this for a master's? Was this for
Yeah.
a doctorate? Where we at?
yeah.
So we're at master's. So where does this lead you in your journey?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've kind of really cut my teeth in a couple different fields within counseling. I've done counseling for victims of sexual assault, rape, family members of victims of murder. I've done school-based behavioral health, so I've been in the school system. I've done inpatient psychiatric, which was, we can talk about that because you know about
Yes.
my job
Yes.
there. But I worked at a very high acuity unit I'm sure you are well aware of what First Hospital was.
Absolutely.
What that was like.
Yeah. In Wilkes-Barre, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I worked there before it got shut down.
It was actually Kingston, right?
Kingston.
Yeah.
And 562 Wyoming Ave, I think.
Yeah.
But
Probably burned into your memory.
yeah, sure is. And then I did a lot of community-based in-home work with families. So
By the way, not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I think I was born there. So that might explain some things.
you were born in.
But no, I don't think it was always
You were born on a psych unit.
psychiatric.
Yeah, wasn't Freddy
No, no,
Krueger
no.
born in a
I don't know.
psychiatric
Wait,
ward too?
yeah, I'm just saying.
Pretty sure he was.
I'm pretty sure, like on my birth certificate, it's First Hospital in Wilkes-Barre.
And it gave you a diagnosis.
I don't know if it immediately, but obviously they can tell now. But go ahead.
So yeah, from there I did a lot of work with families. I was a supervisor for a functional family therapy team. So it's like an evidence-based model. And unfortunately, that company shut its doors in Pennsylvania. So now I'm the program director for another nonprofit working with individuals with intellectual disability and mental health co-occurring.
And where's that based out of?
Based out of Wilkes-Barre, but they're a big national corporation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so, Yeah, I've been in the field now for a while, and it is definitely more my speed. And I do find that again, when it comes to how I'm taking some of that information into jiu-jitsu, I find that like therapy is all within jiu-jitsu, and you guys as black belts talking to lower ranks,
Right.
you've probably found yourself in similar positions that I find myself in.
A lot of therapeutic, and we're going to touch on that because
Yeah.
you and I just had a recent conversation about the reality of jiu-jitsu saving lives. So I've had it affect my life. You've had it affect your life, and we'll definitely talk about that. But there's a lot of times I become a therapist for people. They want to complain about their job or their child, their children or their spouse or their struggles within jiu-jitsu. And you're listening and you're talking and you're trying to pull off of your own. You're trying to offer advice, but sometimes there's no advice other than just to listen. Somebody just wants a sounding board sometimes.
Right.
So not that I'm a professional licensed therapist or anything, but we find ourselves being a doctor sometimes, where it's like, hey, what's this?
Right.
Can you patch me up here? Can you do that? So it's like you're putting these hats on. I will say the jiu-jitsu black belt only qualifies me to teach jiu-jitsu. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. No. But people come to me in those. People come to me in those things, right?
Yeah.
But you do wear those hats in some moments in time.
Yes.
As a coach.
For sure.
So
yeah.
You do. Yeah, and I found that even when I was a strength coach, because you're not working with athletes in a vacuum. Athletes are people, and people have emotions, and people have lives, and they have big life changes and transitions, and those things affect performance.
Yes.
And I mean, that's not even just, woo-woo, therapist speak.
Right.
That's science.
Yes.
And, we all know what stress does to the body, to our cortisol levels. We all know what that means with our sleep, with our eating habits.
Yep.
And, even something like a move. A move is a number 3 big stressor for all people. Even just moving.
Yes.
We're not even talking about,
It's like moving, divorce,
yeah.
childbirth, something like that.
Yeah, you got them.
Yeah. These are all the things people talk to me about.
Yeah.
then maybe you are
You listed the top 3 statistical highest ones. And so, and those are things that people are in ebbs and flows and fluxes in all the time.
Right.
And so when you take, and I can say from experience, when you take a sport like jiu-jitsu or a practice like jiu-jitsu and you put it up against other sports or hobbies or practices, jiu-jitsu must be, I believe, the highest level order practice that you can undergo. I mean, you take a sport like I was coaching in weightlifting. Sure, there's a ton of technique. Sure, there's a ton of grief, and there's a ton of struggle and pain and whatever. But it is such a gross, wide pattern, as opposed to jiu-jitsu, where you are into granular particulates.
Yes.
And you can dive down to the microscopic all the way to the universal.
Correct.
Within a matter of seconds. And you have to know how to navigate the microscopic to the universal, to the meta. And so you don't really see that, in my opinion, in a ton of other sports. And I've worked with athletes, all types of athletes, all different sports. The psychology that goes into jiu-jitsu, the more I think about it, is so vast. The universe within the mind in the sport is too big. So you have to be able to, as a instructor and as a practitioner, learn how to like zoom in with the microscope to then zoom out with the telescope.
Yes.
Constantly back and forth.
On the fly.
Yeah. And we're like in a sport in like weightlifting, you're kind of just in the telescope. You're just looking big picture.
Right.
Weight go up, weight be bigger.
Right. Yeah, get stronger.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's a diminishing level of returns on a certain level of technique. In jiu-jitsu, there isn't.
Yes.
There isn't diminishing levels of return on technique. You have to keep diving into the granular on technique.
Right.
I remember there was a day Tyler came to the gym. This is a few years ago. And I think maybe it was 4 years ago. And I remember him talking to Derek about something, and he said, everything is within the micro movements, something like that.
Micro movements. Yeah, that's a big term that he uses. Yeah.
And I mean, it was, I think, the first time I heard him say that, and I went, "Oh my God!" And I saw him teaching Derek something where he moved his knee position literally half an inch.
Yeah.
And he goes, "That that was all the difference." So that's where my fascination with all this stuff comes in.
Yeah.
It really is, and you don't stop having these moments. I've spoke about this in group sessions. I don't think I've probably never spoken about it in a public setting, but there was a point at which Rob Kahn was in to instruct a seminar at the school.
Okay.
All right. And now he's instructing, and I'm walking around and helping, as should be my role as one of his black belts.
Right.
And he's having a conversation with a small group of people just directly behind me, and I'm helping somebody with a technique. And he's talking as he's prone to do. Rob's a talker. And I hear him say, "Yeah, at this point in my jiu-jitsu career, my job when I'm rolling with you is to make you worse at jiu-jitsu." And my brain went, poof. Like, I was like, "Wait, what?" No, I didn't say anything. I just kind of let that ruminate inside of my brain for a while. And I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And afterwards I was like, that's what he's talking about. What are the things that I can do to you, to impose upon you, to make you worse at jiu-jitsu? To make you as my opponent terrible at jiu-jitsu. And there's these small micro movements, right? You and I were working on my disconnective crossbody recently.
Oh yeah, that was fascinating.
That is one of those things. I'm not going to talk about it on camera because I don't want people stealing it yet.
Oh boy.
But, it's we're used to pressure-based crossbody and smashing and boom, boom, boom. And this was, I almost had no connections with you, no contact with you, right?
Well, you had connections.
Yes.
But it wasn't necessarily that standard chest heavy pressure and weight distribution, like completely like chest to chest. It was more of a disconnect, but there were connections.
There were connections, yes. Yeah, it just wasn't like pressure. And it was it was all things designed to disrupt your normal movement.
My standard understanding.
Of jiu-jitsu.
That's what it was. It was more mental.
Almost like getting a virus in your computer. The computer's still running, but it's glitching.
Yeah.
And it's not running correctly. And that was something that, from that one sentence of Rob saying, I try to make people worse at jiu-jitsu. I went, whoa, that's my next level of jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah.
I just started working on it.
Yeah.
It was a crazy journey. Getting into, we talked about the counseling and, jiu-jitsu saving lives and that kind of stuff. Do we want to kind of talk about that a little bit? You comfortable with that? Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you had an on-job incident, and we don't have to, name names and, certainly name the company or anything like that. But you had an incident in which you needed jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was, I guess I can talk about it because the hospital shut down. So they're not at the hospital anymore. So yeah, I was at the hospital, and it was a normal day for me. I was on the unit in my office, and I just had to use the bathroom. So I got up out of my chair, walk out into the hallway, and I turned right down the hallway. It's silent. Nothing. And I look over.
Want me to use it?
Oh yeah, please. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Help.
Funnily enough, we had crickets on site. No, I'm kidding. So I turn to my right, and I see a patient in his mid-20s, and he's got a nurse in a rear naked choke. Pretty decent one. And he had this nurse, who was a male nurse. He must have had him in there for so long, his face was completely purple.
Wow.
And so at this time, I'm, I think, a 3-stripe white belt. I think at the time, maybe 4-stripe. I can't remember.
So definitely an understanding of what's happening.
I have an understanding of what's happening.
Yes.
And I have some tools in my toolkit ready to go,
Sure.
right? So I run up to him, pull his arm off the nurse. Nurse drops to the floor like a rag doll. And then he looks at me. I look at him. He took I gave him the opportunity. I said, don't do it. He took a big swing at me. Body lock to the floor.
Of course.
We ended up, he ended up trying to grab my neck. I just ended up taking his back. I got my seatbelt in and I held him there. Right?
Oh, okay.
No one got hurt. Well, I think he hurt his knee, but no one got hurt really. Everyone was totally fine. And I aside from the guy who kind of pushed me up against my car that I talked about earlier, I mean, that was scary in some way because I had never really been in any physical conflict at all before that. This was the first time that I'd ever actually been in a fight, ever, where my life was on the line. No one was there. I didn't have time to yell out for assistance from anybody.
Yeah.
And it was super quiet. And so I took his back, yelled out for help. Things happened, whatever.
So help did arrive.
Yes, I called out for someone. They did a code, I think code black over the speakers or something. Security came, however good they were. And so,
They were super helpful.
Oh, they were so good. Yes, yes. They often called me for security to other units.
You know, it's interesting you see it. I think Matt Morosky
mentioned that too.
runs into that same problem at where he works. We don't have to name it, but I think he might have named it already. But, he seems that like he's like not only the charge nurse, but the head security enforcer. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So they look to him for a lot of resolutions of physical altercations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I remember distinctly, like I sort of let go, and everything was handled, and I just sort of walked back to my office, and I hadn't really experienced anything like that before. And I'm sure, Chuck, you might remember the first. I mean, you're a state trooper. I'm sure you've been attacked before. Retired.
Yeah.
And you've been attacked before, and I'm sure you could remember your first one or your first couple, or at least the first one that made an impact on you.
Sure.
And I sat down and I went, "Oh my God, I have to text my jiu-jitsu coach," because
he needs to hear about this.
Yeah, I know. Well, because also I had no. And that's part of, and to me, this was also peak jiu-jitsu, being able to talk to someone who understands what just happened. Like, yes, I had loved ones, I had friends and family and everybody that I could, if I really needed to, confide in them, talk to them, and help make sense of it. But really, no one understands more than someone like you guys.
Yes. Yeah.
And I texted you and I told you what happened, and that to me was the biggest grounding thing that I could have done in that moment, because I was totally clear in my mind while it was all happening. It was when I got back to my office and I was sitting there alone and I was trying to do a note on my computer where it hit me.
Yeah.
And I went,
the adrenaline dump happened, and you're like this trying to write a note.
Oh, yeah.
The adrenaline dump just boom.
Yeah.
My hand was shaking and I was just sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. And then I remember I came to the academy and we kind of recreated it.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about that, and I don't think we did it for any other reason than technical, but what that did for me, if I can be candid,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
because that was traumatizing for me, right?
Sure.
When you recreate, and this is also a therapeutic technique, when you recreate certain techniques, and you basically calling it role playing, right? So in a therapeutic sense, I could use role playing like recreating the conversation you had with your dad when you were young. Let's just say that where he really demeaned you, he made you feel lesser than. He like really got down on, like really being hard on you, and you remembered that as a kid. Okay, so what we might do is we might role play, where I might say, okay, I'm going to be your dad, you be you, and let's talk this through. We're gonna recreate this situation, and then you can dissect it. You can say, okay, well, was it this? Do you believe that you were, when your dad told you that you were, a piece of shit? Did you believe that in that moment? Do you believe that now? Kind of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what that does is that kind of flosses the groove a little bit on that. You go through those experiences again with clarity, without the rise in emotion
In the moment,
and
right.
and in a safe place, right?
Yeah.
That's what we did. And I had nightmares about that encounter, of course. But I know that if I hadn't texted you, and if you and I hadn't recreated that I might have had worse symptoms from that.
Sure.
Worse traumatic symptoms from that, And so jiu-jitsu saved not just someone else's life, because I saved that guy's life. I'm sure I was 30 seconds away from brain damage for him, maybe a minute away from death.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you
Doesn't
guys
take long.
probably know more than I do, but purple face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you don't even know how long he had it on at the time you
No
saw
idea.
the thing happening. So, yeah.
And he was strong too. I remember him. And when he came in, he told me, he said, yeah, you have to go over like interests and stuff, right? Like,
Right.
what do you like to do? And he told me MMA.
Oh boy.
And he was like a real muscular, lean kid. And I'm thinking, but a lot of these guys come in here and they just talk the talk,
Yeah,
whatever.
tap out shirt.
Yep. And so then when I saw the rear naked choke and I saw that he didn't even have the hand on the back of the head like this, he had the fist. I went, oh shit.
What do you mean the fist?
Like putting the fist back here instead of doing this.
Like when you do the full lockup and putting the fist behind the head so they can't grab your fingers and
Oh,
pull it
you're
out.
saying he had the hand, not the fist.
No, he had the fist.
Oh, he had like when he locked it up, he put the
He hit his
his
fingers.
fingers in behind.
That's the right way to do it.
Yes, that's what
I'm
he's
saying.
saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
That's
saying.
scary.
That's what he's
I
saying.
thought you meant he was doing it wrong. No, he was doing it correct.
He was doing it
Oh,
correctly.
wow, yeah.
Correctly. Yeah.
So-
Okay,
yeah.
so he had some knowledge.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was like,
Yeah.
so when I saw that, as I'm walking up to him, like, oh, fuck, this guy knows how to actually do something. He wasn't
Right.
bullshitting me.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. But yeah, I mean, so it saved.
He really does do the MMA.
yeah.
Yes.
He did it.
He did.
He do the MMA.
Both M's.
The UFC.
All two M's.
All two M's.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
And none of the A.
No. But like I got to save that person's life. I saved my own life, and then I saved my own mental health
Right.
later in life
Yeah.
because of the community.
Right.
involved.
And realistically, you saved the life of the individual who perpetrated the attack.
True.
Because had
Yeah.
he killed that nurse or doctor, whoever it was, now his life is ruined forever.
Right. Could go to prison.
Could go to prison and everything. So,
Yep.
Could have hurt himself over the event
Yeah,
or the prospect
100%.
of going to prison.
3 lives were saved in the course of one event.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to.
And also in that same respect, not only like from those outside factors of his own doing, but you took his back, but you did not choose to sink in a vascular neck restraint yourself,
Nope.
and put him unconscious. Not saying that would have been the wrong thing to do in the moment. I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking it, but your comfort and your knowledge in the positional control in that moment. Maybe someone with a little bit less understanding may have slipped in their own vascular restraint, held on a little too long because now the adrenaline is pumping, and now maybe that guy loses his life, even though you may have been justified, right?
Right.
Because you were in defense of another person who, if that's deadly force, then maybe he was trying to kill that person. So maybe you were in the right, but now that person lives because you had an understanding of the position.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu did save lives in that, and the understanding of jiu-jitsu saved lives in that moment in 3 different aspects.
Yeah, it's so true.
And the political correctness of the vascular neck restraint.
Right. Yeah, I saw you laughing every time I said it.
Yeah, the vascular neck
I've been on the
restraint.
road.
Yeah. That's our term for the police and the
Right.
mental health and hospitals and
Anybody
teachers
that,
and
anybody that has to document things.
Yeah. Oh,
call it a
Because what you
vascular
don't
neck
want to put in your report is rear naked choke. You don't want to put naked anything in your report unless someone was naked and you're actually reporting about that.
Yeah.
I can think of a certain big black
Vascular
belt that likes everything
neck.
naked.
Right, yeah,
Restraint.
exactly. I'm sure we'll get him on the podcast. We'll have to
some point
scrap
we'll
the
get
whole
him.
episode.
Yeah. There's nothing else to
Everything
talk
will
about with
everything
him.
will bleeped out.
Yeah.
I have that effect as well.
I had alluded to that I had experienced jiu-jitsu saving lives as well with regards to you. And it wasn't, like you and I were in a jiu-jitsu fight in a bar room or something and, we're like Batman and Robin. It was the connection that we had made through jiu-jitsu that allowed me to call for your expertise, right?
Yep.
I had somebody who I greatly admired, friends with, everything like that. And a whole bunch of red flags came up that they were going to commit suicide. And without ever having known you or met you, I wouldn't have really had a path or an avenue to diagnose this, right? And I called you and I said, listen, you got a couple minutes, told you what was going on. You were like, yeah, that sounds, I'm like, what are my steps? What can I do? And, you had advised me, try to get them to submit themselves. And if they won't, then we could, go the avenue of what, 302?
Yeah, 302 commitment. Yeah,
Commitment.
involuntary.
And you had just given me all this advice and everything went into action. And long story short, a life was saved, and
Yeah.
you know, they're thriving, and it's hopefully in the rearview mirror, and it's never going to happen again. But without having that avenue through jiu-jitsu to call you, and that, you know, that could have been a life lost.
Yeah.
And some people don't get that opportunity.
Some people don't get that opportunity. No, no. And it was just, like I said, these things that they weren't sitting right in my brain. I'm like, something's off. And I was like, I'm going to call Harrison and make sure I'm not overreacting.
No,
And you're like, nope, you're not overreacting.
Yeah.
Like these are classic signs that somebody is ready to end it.
yeah. It's, you know, I'm glad I could be there for you and your friend
Yeah, I
in
was
that
too.
moment. And
Right.
you know, I get those calls all the time
Yeah.
from friends and family who,
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a, you know, mental health is such a gray field and a gray area. And, you know, sometimes like you said, sometimes it's not even necessarily some big over the top, like screaming siren at you. Someone says something to you just a little bit off, and you feel it like in your soul, in your gut, and you go, oh man, I don't know what to do with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, okay, who lives in the world of fog and it's therapists? You know, we always live in the world of fog, and we always have to find our way through with the people that we're working with and to find the truth. And yeah, I mean, that's just, I remember that. That was
Yeah, it was one of the most
Yeah.
frightening moments of my life. And I've been in fights, I've been in car accidents, I've been in house fires, I've been in, you know, rescuing lives from car accident. All that was one of the most frightening things in my life, because I felt helpless.
yeah, you can't
know?
help someone who
Yeah.
not ready to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So you feel powerless. And
Yeah.
I mean, and we know what that feels like in this practice. You know, when you're a white belt, that feeling of helplessness, helping the people who feel helpless.
Yes.
You know, because they do.
Yeah.
A white belt will always feel helpless.
Yeah.
And you know, they have to get through that in their own ways. And I have my own notes about what I think white belts and blue belts are.
Oh, good. Because I want to hear that.
Yeah. Now that
you're no longer one of those people.
Why does that say subhuman?
Yeah, I see that from here.
That's next.
it's
That's
like
next
a
to.
subhuman.
That's next to. It says Big Rick.
Oh,
and it says
okay,
subhuman
yeah.
next to that.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah.
Makes
right.
way more sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's pivot into that. Right? Because you've been through white belt, you've been through blue belt. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, so I've been thinking about this stuff for a long time, and kind of right as I got my purple belt, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, it kind of really, that was a big like click moment for me, because it ended a chapter, right? A chapter of development. And then when you guys were talking about the podcast, I was like, man, I've been thinking about this stuff. Actually, I've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel called The White Belt Whisperer. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but
I like that.
But to tackle things from the clinical perspective.
Can I be your producer?
Yes. As long as that's happening every time.
Go ahead.
But you know, so the stuff that and chime in as I'm talking about this, because this is just the stuff that like I hear in locker rooms, I hear on the mats in between sessions and rolls and whatever. You know, when I think about the stuff that people talk to me about, because I'm a big softie. And so what happens with me is you get a lot of guys who know that either I'm a therapist, or just when you just talk to me for 4 seconds, you know that I'm not like some big bruiser. And so people come to me with their emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'll talk to them. And so the main kind of emotions that come up, there's 2. What do you guys think they are?
In grappling?
In grappling, the two emotions that come up all the time for white belts.
Frustration?
Yep, I have that number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say fear.
Fear. Well, I'm going to get to fear.
Fear of not being good at it.
Wait a minute, hold on. I was right and Jeff was wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm in a room
I mean,
with
he
2
could
black
keep
belts.
guessing if he wants. I mean, I'm not going to give both answers. I thought he
one
was
to
going
each,
to. No, I'm
yeah.
just kidding. Go ahead. What's the second one? I don't even know the second one.
So in the same vein, they sound the same, but they're different. Frustration and anger.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not kidding. I was going to say anger too.
I believe you. I believe you. So
So I would have had both answers, just so for the record. Or go ahead.
frustration and anger, right? Now, the way that frustration and anger are used those are not primary emotions. Primary emotions for frustration and anger either come from fear or depression.
Okay, so he was right.
He was
Let's
right.
just get back to that before the next time he catches me
see,
outside. You know what I'm saying?
Fear leads to anger.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
Star
agree.
Wars, yep.
City has taught me that.
Yes.
And so, fear and depression can, and mostly when it comes to either athletic performance or when it comes to just like your, general daily living, shows itself as in one way or another as anxiety, right? Anxiety. Well, how I see anxiety as a clinician is either in one of two realms, right? The way I just wrote it down, the fear of not knowing the outcome of an anticipated event.
Okay.
Right? So, or that the outcome of those events are never going to be consistent. And it's not that they're not consistent, you have a fear that they won't be.
Got it.
Okay? When it comes to relational anxiety, it's a lack of trust, either in a person or within the system that you share with that person. So husband and wife, I don't trust you that you are telling me that you are not looking at other men or women, right?
Right.
I don't trust you. Why don't you trust me? Well, because I just feel it. I have no proof, but I just don't trust it, right? So that becomes anxiety, right? Anxiety is a lack of trust without proof.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So,
is that the clinical definition of anxiety?
no.
Okay.
No, so like the clinical definition of anxiety is just a list of symptoms in the DSM-5 where, you can, clinically diagnose someone, and those are, a little bit more measurable.
Okay.
This type of anxiety, and the way that I see it, is just more like, how do I make sense of anxiety in a philosophical sense, not in a clinical sense, right? Because I also tend to think people tend to react a little bit more favorably when you talked about mental health stuff in more humanistic ways instead of clinical ways, right? Okay. No one wants to feel like they're just a bucket of symptoms, like when you're going to the doctor, right?
A bucket of symptoms.
Yeah.
That's great. Sometimes I feel like that after like a roll, a bucket of pain symptoms.
That's how I wake up.
Yeah.
Bucket of symptoms.
I wouldn't know what
I'm
that's
using
like.
that.
I was born in
That's
1989.
How about I think we have a T-shirt.
Yeah, I think
bucket of symptoms. Just walk in the gym like this.
Yeah.
That's a great T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
So when I was thinking about all this stuff, I thought about breaking down what happens at white belt and what happens at blue belt in fear and depression, right? White belt, in my opinion, what are their greatest fears? Number one greatest fear, getting hurt. Mm-hmm. Number two greatest fear, being overpowered by a bigger opponent. Number three, the beginning of your ego loss. Mm. Because you need ego death in jiu-jitsu to fully ascend to the next level.
Agreed.
You need ego death, but you don't reach ego death in white belt. You begin ego loss, which is a little frightening, but not as frightening as ego death. I think ego death happens in blue belt personally. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it happens in purple, and I'm just brand new.
Blues and purples. That's where it's going to happen.
Yeah. So when I think about this, I think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you guys are familiar.
Yeah. Yes.
Nope.
Okay.
So from basically, the streets, I mean, this guy's home reading books.
What's reading? What are words? No, but so Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's super simple. It's just a pyramid, just like the food pyramid. And in the bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have, and I found this to be really interesting when I was thinking about this for today, you have food, water, sleep, safety. When you break down training for a new white belt, basically the thing that we tell them is stay safe, right? And at bare minimum, a white belt needs to get their nutrition under control, their stress under control, their sleep under control, right? If they're not eating right, they're not going to be performing. You need to stay hydrated so you can train, but also like you do get choked a lot. And when you are not hydrated, that can definitely impact how you're feeling. And like you need this sense of safety, like a sense of safety in the role, but also a sense of like, I know that every time I come to the gym, I'm going to walk out in one piece and I am going to be whole, right?
Yes.
The depression of the white belt, is this even for me? what's the point and how does anyone get better?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I see white belts falling into either fear or depression, depending on their either their biological predilection or their their social predisposition, how they were raised.
Yes.
And what will happen is, depending on if you are fearful or depressed in the sport, shows if you become frustrated or angry. The depressed person is going to be frustrated. The depressed person, when they get frustrated, at least for white belt, they're going to internalize their lack of self-worth in the sport. So you'll see them roll, the match ends, and you see them shake their head, and they look away, and they're kind of clenching their fists, and they're kind of putting, oh my God.
Yeah, they're mad at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They show inward. The fear to anger route, what do we see? Mat slapping.
The mat. Yep.
Being like, fuck.
Yeah.
Storming off the mat.
Storming off the mat.
Saying something to the training partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what both of these people don't understand yet is, and I think when you were telling me about like what your philosophy on stripes is, right? On community, being community oriented, technical prowess, and competitive spirit.
You mean ranks?
Yeah.
That was for new belts. Yeah.
For
For new belts.
Yeah.
But there is a sub list of that for stripes. Yeah.
Right. And so I think when it comes to the psychological, the 4-stripe white belt has accepted ego loss. And the way that you accept ego loss from fear and depression are totally different. The fear-based, anger-based white belt must be broken down.
Right.
And typically that person's going to be better on the mat anyway. The fear, anger-based white belt is better than the depressed white belt.
Yes.
Right out of the gate. Yeah. That they're just better. But they don't know yet that they have to be beaten to a pulp spiritually.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That you're breaking a horse. You're breaking a horse.
And the depressed, frustrated person doesn't quite yet understand that the internal, I'm never going to be good enough attitude also has to be beaten out of you. You have to, because I was the depressed, frustrated type, right? I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not a killer. You have to become your own version of that.
Right.
But at white belt, I think you just have to accept the fact that you are going to and start to show signs.
Yeah. Yes.
Thoughts.
Yeah. That's a great way of saying it.
It's you've given language to what we see on the mat. These are definitely the paths that I see on the mat where, I'm never going to be good at this. I'm never going to understand this move. I can't do it.
That's a lot.
I can't do it.
That's too much. That's a lot.
It's boom, boom. And then the mat banger and the one, you got to, and barking at their partner or saying something, under their breath. These are the things that we can often see in white belt. Do you have your exceptions to the rules where you have a white belt come in with an open mind and a learner's mind? Sure, you do. But typically, you have to go down one of these two paths to get to blue belt. You have to.
Yeah.
Or you quit.
Right.
Or you quit.
And you know what? In my opinion, I think the instructor and the coach has a big responsibility in
Absolutely.
that.
And they're training partners.
Training partners. And again, like the instructor, the head instructor for that class is in charge really and responsible of how the training partners are interacting with each other, slow down, all that stuff. But what I mean by, the head instructor could have a lot to do with their reaction is I sometimes have heard coaches say to a white belt, like a guy's pretty new in the sport, no, don't do it like that. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. No, stop. No, what do you mean stop doing that? That's all he knows how to do. Stop using your strength. Well, wait a minute. He's strong and he doesn't know anything else. He doesn't have any other technique to fall back on to replace with his strength. So right now, do what you do. I let them make that mistake. I let them feel why that might not be a good idea. No, don't do that. Of course, if you see a white belt making a mistake as a black belt, you should say, no, that's wrong. Don't do that. Well, how do you know that's wrong? Did you know that was wrong when you were a white belt at 6 months in? No, you didn't. You learned that was wrong over a course of time. So why don't you give that person a little bit of time to figure that out as well? So I caution instructors to say, no, don't do it like that. That's wrong. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. That's all that person knows how to do at that moment. So let them do it. And don't let them disqualify themselves now, because now the instructor is telling them, no, stop and do it this way. Didn't you just see me do it? That's not what I said. You do it this way. They don't know enough yet.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I like to look at this stuff from a developmental lens in a sense, because like what you're talking about, when you talk about the development of children, let's say, because a white belt is a child, right?
In the sport.
The sport.
Or the art.
Yeah. And what you're doing is you're stifling exploration on that white belt. You tell a 3-year-old who has very limited capacity to do anything in the world that they can't do something, right? When they only have such a little world that they can play in, and only so many things that they're allowed to do, right? And you tell them they can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Well, what happens? The 3-year-old becomes upset, becomes angry. And in white belt, you tell someone, don't do that, unless they're being unsafe, of course. But
that's a different story.
But when it comes to like exploration and it comes to development, moving through things and trying things, and like you say all the time, touching the hot stove.
Right.
Like let the white belt touch the hot stove as many times as they need to.
Might have to, yeah. Till they learn.
Yeah.
That's just the way it has to be.
The old saying, you reach, I teach.
Yeah.
Stop bench pressing me
Right.
stop bench pressing me, I'll stop arm locking you. You reach, I teach.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the hot stove.
Yeah.
Rather than going, don't do that, and then not showing them what the repercussions are. Well, let them bench press you, arm lock them. Okay, now,
Right.
did you learn something from that? Good. Don't do that again.
Right.
Yeah, I think like when you allow the white belt to, and I think when you and I have gone over just like little bits of coaching, like, because even though I was a coach, coaching this is a totally different animal,
Right.
And when I know for sure you said it, I think Chuck, you might have said this to me at some point too, but like, when you're watching someone, just kind of focus in on one little thing to change instead of trying to make the whole movement perfect, you know?
Yep.
And it's like, it's so hard not to chase every little thing that they're doing wrong, because you're like, oh.
There is overcorrection.
Of
Just
course.
like when you're driving the car.
Yep.
Right? You start to hydroplane, you overcorrect, you wreck everything. There is an art to teaching. I don't care what you're teaching, but there is an art to teaching jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Not everybody is meant to be a coach and a teacher. And unfortunately that's not the norm. The norm is, oh, you're a blue belt now, you're a purple belt now, you're a black belt now. You're an instructor.
Yeah.
No, you're not. No, you're not. There is an art to teaching. That's why people literally go to school to learn how to become a teacher.
Correct.
Right.
You don't just go, oh, you're a teacher now, and they send you into the school. No, there is an art to teaching. There is languages to teaching. There is different methodologies that you have to use. And, we've done a very good job of incorporating that into handing it down to the next generation.
Yes.
Right. Like we have, we develop coaches. We don't just go, hey, you're gonna cover this class because you're a purple belt.
Yeah, because you have a rank and I can't be there.
Right.
That's
like we don't do that. Now, not every school does that. And I will say most of the local schools do the opposite, where it's just like, you're a sensei now. Yeah, I mean, it's literally what
Purple
happens.
belt and up.
Yeah, you're a blue belt and up.
Right.
Even
Jeez.
purple belt and up, I would, maybe not be so angry, but like blue belt and up, you're a sensei now. You're a sensei now. Get out of here.
Oh my God.
But yeah, you're right. You have to communicate, and sometimes there's overcorrections, and there's ways of correcting, right? Like, no, don't, stop. That's 3 negative words I just gave you. I just hit you with 3 gut punches.
Yeah. You use pause.
I use pause.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Pause.
Pause. Yeah. Like when I'm watching a movie, pause.
How neutral is pause?
Oh yeah.
How neutral of a word? How negative of a word is pause?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Pause.
Yeah. Pause.
Now, like I might say it to him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Were
yeah,
you even
it's just- right.
You know, but we've been friends for so long. Like, did you even watch the move I just showed? What is that?
Yeah, and I'm more resilient.
But that's
Because of my ranks.
our relationship.
Yeah, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is pretty much across the board, but the higher ranks, the more experienced students are more resilient to correction.
Oh yeah.
And criticism. So you could speak a little bit differently to that purple belt or that brown belt or that black belt than you can that white belt or that blue belt that you don't see often or doesn't come to your, like maybe even if it's someone who hasn't come to my class, but they train with him. Like, I don't know, they haven't heard it from me yet. I have to gain that person's trust and get them on my side before I start correcting everything they do wrong.
Sure. But what you're talking about, like with how you make sense of that, that concept, we call that generalization. So being able to take a skill, let's say listening to instruction from one person to another, right? You're generalizing that skill. Or in another sense, let's take a super simple example. For like a kid, am I going to play nice with my brother and sister at home? Okay, great, I can do that. Can I do that with new kids on a playground? Can I generalize that skill out to someone else, right? Yeah. And so I'm sure that a brown belt can generalize the skills between listening to instructions from Jeff and you.
Sure.
So can a purple belt. I think, maybe the white belt for sure, like you said, you would have to, using clinical language, build rapport with that person first before you really start getting in there.
Yes, right.
And, that's really interesting insight, Yeah. Well, so then
cycle back to blue belt.
Blue belt.
Yes.
Right.
This is my thoughts on blue belt. Where in the white belt, you can live in fear or depression, and you're typically one or the other, right? Blue belt, you must live temporarily in both worlds. You have to. Because at white belt, if you live in both worlds, you drown. Blue belt, you now have the new color around your waist. You have enough experience. You have enough resiliency, resourcefulness, where you can and should be able to handle more stress because you've been there, right? You survived under big, strong black belts. You survived technical purple and brown belts just twisting you up. And you've been given this belt of achievement of like, you survived for 1 to 2.5 years. Yeah. Right.
Right.
And so for blue belt though, because we are humans, not in a vacuum, I think to get to purple belt, you have to live in fear. And what the fear is the law, and I think it can show itself a couple different ways, is the fear of losing your technical skill, the fear that progress is nonlinear, and the fear of what I said earlier, complete ego death.
Right.
And the depression comes in with the blue belt blues, right?
Yep.
Blue belt blues.
They call it.
And
I don't know who they is, but
yeah. And so
the worldwide intraweb.
yes, they did. Yeah. Yes, www.bluebellblues.org.
Right.
.gov.
Or
and
.gracienepa.com.
yes, also that. And so I think for the blue belt, that's why blue belt's the hardest, because you have to go through both of those emotional crises to get to purple belt. I don't see another way out. Now, I went through those phases, but like I've talked to tons of blue belts who are in the middle of one or the other. And I really don't see how you move forward until you overcome the fear of losing technical skill, overcome the fear of your progress being nonlinear, and accept your ego death.
Right.
Total accept. And I think right before purple belt, you have overcome your ego death. I don't think you get purple belt until you've overcome ego death.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be willing to, I want to say lose at purple belt. Lose, I'm using that very, very loosely. But what happens a lot of times is you get promoted to blue belt and you're like, well, I can't ever be tapped by a white belt now.
I literally have white belt taps here. I didn't even say it, but
and they get tapped by a white belt and now they're depressed, you know, and then they live in fear of being tapped by a white belt. It's like, no, listen, relax, calm down.
Right.
You know, I tapped my first ever black belt when I was a purple belt. That black belt turned around and kicked my butt 100 more times. You know, it was just one day I got lucky and got it. So it wasn't a celebration for me, and it wasn't a depression for him.
Right.
But that's what happens when you get your blue belt. I can't be tapped by a white belt now.
Right. I think that could happen at any rank if you
It
don't have the
definitely-
right mindset.
If you don't have the right mindset,
Right.
it 100% could. Yeah, I mean, there's people who, thankfully, I cannot think of a single person at the gym, but
Currently,
yes. But we have had, and I've experienced it in other gyms and whatnot, where they treat every roll like it's a competition.
yeah.
Wins
Abu
or
Dhabi.
losses.
Yep.
Wins and losses. Who tapped who? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and then they text their buddies about it, and they have like a group chat about it. And, oh, you know, I got so-and-so tonight, and this, and they didn't get me. And it's like, what are you doing?
Those are people who have not come to terms with their own morality
Yes.
or mortality in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Right.
Their own ego.
And you know, it's emotional maturity as well. So they're probably that way in every, I don't even have to say probably, they're that way in every aspect of their life, I'm sure. Where they just don't have an emotional maturity to put that aside and say, I'm trying to get better at a craft. So yeah, there's going to be ups and downs and whatever.
And let's be honest, it's not uncommon. I don't think it's uncommon in the jiu-jitsu community to have that thought process.
No.
I mean, we're lucky that we don't really have any people at our gym that currently train there now that really think that way, and that we know of. I mean, we don't know. No. You know what I mean? Maybe something arises. People are human, right? But I think that's not very uncommon. That, you know, if you were to go around to jiu-jitsu schools all over the country and ask blue belts, do you think you should be tapped by a white belt? I bet you the answer predominantly would be no.
Right.
Nobody would. I mean, I don't think you're going to get like this philosophical, well, man, you know, it doesn't really matter because, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like a specific person or you know, that at a specific school. I think it's pretty common.
Yeah,
it's a human behavior.
Yeah, it's human behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well,
And you have to overcome it to progress, is what you're saying.
yes. Yeah, I think you have to, again, that goes back to the nonlinear thing and what your idea of what nonlinear means and how you measure your successes within the practice, within the sport. Because if all you are measuring jiu-jitsu by is taps, then what you think, how you think you're going to progress is going to be a long, painful road.
Yeah.
Those data points are inconsistent if they're not correlated or at least graphed onto other data points, like technical ability, right? Like, you know, you can be becoming more technically proficient in so many things, but still get tapped by a lower rank.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you plot those points, sure, maybe the dots are kind of scattered, but they're all trending
upwards.
So, you know, I think that's one of the things that makes this sport so much more unique is because, you know, in so many other sports, again, you can kind of plot some of your performance more simply, I think. You know, this is, I mean, if you were trying to graph and measure performance in jiu-jitsu.
I'd like to see that graph.
I mean, I would love to look at if there's research on it, you know, but like, I mean, there's research on athletic performance and increasing performance on whatever is like soccer goalies. Okay. Like, I'm sure there's very easy ways to do training in, training out equals, you know, more goals saved. Right. This is just a complete nightmare. When you try to look at objective measures, it's all very,
so
very
many
subjective.
different parameters.
Yeah, and especially because, you know, you've always said something like, what is it, 5 years and 25 pounds, or 5 years and 50 pounds?
Oh yeah, the Boyd belt.
Oh, Boyd belt system.
Yeah, Boyd belt system. That's a real thing.
It's not 5. It's I believe it's 10 years and 20 pounds.
Okay.
So for every 10 years, in other words, let's say you're a purple belt, which you are, and you're going up against a white belt. How old are you now?
36.
All right, so you're 36 years old. Let's say you're going against a 26-year-old white belt. Forget about how much each of you weigh right now. Right now, to you, he's a blue belt. He's just gained a rank because he's 10 years younger than you. Now, let's say, how much do you weigh?
205.
Let's say he's 225 pounds. To you, in that moment, he's now a purple belt.
Yeah, that's freaky.
Do you see?
Yeah, that's freaky.
If he was 245 pounds, guess what? To
Brown
you,
belt.
he might be, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just, I know more moves than this guy, so I should be able to tap him. That's, if you think that way, you're wrong. And the whole like size doesn't matter thing, I mean, I think that's been over for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So yes, do you know more moves? Do you have better transitions? Of course, but the playing field starts to get leveled if they have age, youth and size kind of evens the playing field. So that means you have to be on your game and a little bit a step ahead.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. I mean, and that's why I brought that up, just because, like, you know, you can sort of plot out, you know, athletic performance and like your own progression within the sport, and then you have to throw it all away when you're in a position like that. You know, you're with someone 20 years younger than you.
And if you don't have that, understanding of what we just talked about, then they say comparison is a thief of joy, right? And so you might be comparing yourself as an aging brown belt to that 26-year-old blue belt. And you think in your brain, I should beat him. I'm a brown belt, he's a blue belt, I'm older, I'm wiser, whatever you want to say. And if you compare yourself just by but the color around your waist, and you don't have the understanding of the Boyd belt system, then you're going to start to self-disqualify and start to, you know, doubt yourself.
Spiral.
You'll spiral out of control. And some people have quit. We've had people at purple belt quit.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because they weren't beating everybody anymore.
Yeah.
And he was getting older, and he's still one of my friends to this day. Still talk to him, and he wouldn't dispute this. I mean, I asked him, John, why did you quit? And he's like, I can't kill everybody anymore. He just liked beating people, right? He liked winning, right?
Well, this goes into my next phase, if you guys are ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're not just going to point at problems and go, see you later.
Right.
We got to point at problems and say, what do we do about it?
Right. Bring solutions.
Right. So the first thing is a little bit of ACT, acceptance commitment therapy, just a little bit, right?
What does that look like?
Well, that looks like typically, you know, you might use a lot of ACT in grief therapy, right?
Okay.
So maybe, you know, you're in grief therapy because you got a terminal diagnosis or like a really serious diagnosis. I'm just picking something up off the top of my head.
Sure.
And so ACT basically helps you accept where you're at, right? Because typically people have a hard time accepting their current situation. And so you might use a little bit of ACT to ground them, bring them back to earth,
Okay.
right? And just help them to, it says it right in the title, accept where they are, right?
Is that easier said than done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. ACT is a therapy that I enjoy doing, but it is also some of the hardest work because you are typically finding people in their lowest moments.
Okay.
Very, very lowest moments. And not just internally, they have internal and external lows. So not only are they showing clinical signs of whatever, depression, anxiety, whatever, internally, they have external reasons for them on top of it. So for some people, it's like, I'm depressed, but my life, you know, I have an amazing partner and I make good money and I don't know why I feel this way. Okay. That's difficult, but that's all internal. You have no external stuff pushing on you. So I think for the people...
And you have to approach that differently, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very differently. Because the person that has, when you have internal and external stressors, right, you then have to triage what's the most important thing to treat, right? Because with someone who's just experiencing internal stressors or internal symptoms, like, okay, yeah, we can triage those symptoms right? So we always do A/B in jiu-jitsu, right?
Right.
So it's like, well, if you only have internal symptoms versus internal and external, you can right away, there's no first A/B decision. It's just A. Okay, we just have this to deal with. Now we can triage those symptoms. Okay, are you feeling suicidal? Okay, yeah, suicidal, that's top priority. We got to triage. Versus someone who's like, I just kind of feel like, like what's the meaning of it all, right? That's sort of the lowest level symptom that you can kind of get in therapy, right? It's like someone who's just coming to you being like, I just don't feel right. What's the meaning of this life?
Right.
There's no real safety risks.
Right.
So in jiu-jitsu, I think grounding yourself. So like your buddy that you were talking about, who's like, well, I can't tap anybody that I used to anymore. Bringing them back to the why. Well, why did you start? That's typically what will happen in session, right? Someone comes to me and they're like, I just don't feel that, close to my significant other anymore, something like that. And instead of just diving into why, I might ask the question, well, what attracted you to that person to begin with? When you met Kate, right? What did you really love about her? Was she hot? Was she funny? Was she like really smart? Like, was she, philosophical? Did you like the same movies? Like,
right.
What was she sarcastic? Whatever. What excited you about her? Right? Because this might be a person who's saying, just like in jiu-jitsu, when you're questioning whether or not you're going to continue, you feel like you want to.
Right.
But there's something in you telling you that you can't, right? You're like, why? I just don't have the same connection with this thing anymore or this person anymore. So why? So I bring them back to the original excitation that they felt when they got there. Okay, so you're a doe-eyed white belt, I might say to your purple belt friend, if I was clinically in session with him for jiu-jitsu. And I might say...
And you probably haven't. He haven't. Did they meet? Did you start on Kaiser Avenue or no?
No.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
So I might say, like, why did you start, right? And I know, and I can't speak to him, but I might say I started because I wanted to learn self-defense. And that was something that was really important to me.
Right.
So we'll use me as an example. If I was depressed and I was going to leave, and I might say to myself, well, why does it matter then if you can't tap everybody? If you came here for self-defense, let's look at the facts. Less than 1% of the population does jiu-jitsu. Of the less than 1%, a certain percentage of them quit. You are now a purple belt.
Right.
Which means that typically, most likely, in almost any situation, one-on-one, you're going to be just fine.
Yes.
Outside of the gym.
Outside of the gym. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Where it matters.
Yeah, for self-defense.
Where it matters.
Right. That's where it matters.
Yeah, for self-defense, right? So like for me, I know that was my why. And I kind of got to that point during my blue belt blues of remembering my why. Because my why wasn't to become a competitor. It still isn't.
Right.
My why and the why also became I just like it. I just like it.
That could be a why.
Yeah. So just showing up is winning. That's it.
Yeah, if you like it.
Yeah.
If you like it, then just showing up
is winning. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like going, sure. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so I think using simple grounding techniques, starting to reevaluate what brought you there to begin with and re-examining your why is such an easy tool.
Okay. What if the why or what brought someone in there is the thing that's gone? What if what brought that person in there was I like to establish dominance over other people and I like to win and now that's all gone. I'm out.
So we would call that managing expectations, right? So you and we can use a romantic relationship, right? As an example, you start a new relationship. It's very exciting. Everyone, it's the beginning
honeymoon stage.
Yep, honeymoon stage. And you're like, man, I'm connecting with this person on such a deep level. And we spend every minute together and we text and the sex is incredible. And we're going out all the time.
They think you're the most interesting person in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything's great. Right. And then what happens is reality sets in. You go back to your schedules because that's not a sustainable way to live either. You can't just take weeks and months off of work to be going on vacation with your new loved one. And and now there's a familiarity and you're in a routine, right? Okay. And sometimes learning that the routine is actually the most meaningful, loving part of a healthy relationship, but the shine wears off a little bit, and now you're really left with this core of like, oh, okay, this is what it's really like. And now I have to readjust my expectations because, hey, maybe the way that relationship started will always stay like that. And so the competitor, right? You get some guys like, I mean, I can think of a few guys off the top of my head who I think are probably incredible competitor, like Nick, right? Yep. Nick, Jake, I don't know if he competes, but he's really good.
Yeah, Jake competes.
Yeah. Yep. So like for them,
Jaden
for them, their why just so happens to match their expectations. They're both accomplished competitors. It just so happens that they found the right sport for them that works for them.
Right.
I would say that's a little bit of luck. Right?
That those two things lined up.
Yeah, that they lined up. That they're good at the thing they want to be good at, that they found it at the right time in their lives.
Yeah, young.
And they don't have to reevaluate their expectations. But for most people, and that's especially in most relationships, yes. So you get to the point where you're like, well, I want to feel dominant. I want to do this. You go through your ego death. You get to the next level. And now you're like, oh my God, I lost my why. And if someone says to you, do you still want to do jiu-jitsu? And they say yes, then you say, then you have to change your expectation of what this means to you. Because if not, it'll eat you alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so people have, in all areas of our lives, I think, have trouble managing the ebbs and flows of our expectations of our performances.
Mm-hmm. So you have to manage your expectations and make them more realistic to your current situation. Mm-hmm. So there's none of that equation where it's like, well, wait a minute, this is what I signed up for. And now the parameters have changed. So I'm out.
Right.
You don't believe in that?
I think
like I signed up for this. I thought it was going to be like this, and this forever. It's no longer like that. Mm-hmm. So now I have to accept that or does that the parameters have to go back to being what I thought they were going to be forever?
Well, jiu-jitsu doesn't change.
Right.
So you have to. If you and I can say this from the comfort.
Well, it changes in respect of as you progress through it. It changes a little bit.
But I mean, like jiu-jitsu isn't going to somehow mold to fit your emotional needs to progress.
No, it is what it is.
Yeah, and like if you can't at a certain level, like if you start getting beat up and if you're not tapping everyone like your buddy says he is anymore, and that's just his reality, then, again, what I was thinking was, I think all of us here have the comfort of being able to say these things in a competent gym. I think if you're in a gym where that's not competent, filled with a bunch of like quacks, I think this skews those results.
Sure.
100%. Yeah.
But we know that our gym is very legitimate. It's very tough and it's very technical.
Yes.
So, so because of that, like, your buddy knows, and I know, we all know that when you go, you know what to expect. Right. So you can accept it.
Yeah.
And then like start to change the parameters of what you consider success, what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
If that means that maybe you try to go into a session and just not get tapped at all, or, all the list of things.
Sure.
And then if you find enjoyment in that, great. And if you don't, then maybe it's time to bow out.
Right. And I think that is absolutely like a requirement to stay in jiu-jitsu long-term. It's a requirement. There's no way you can progress all the way through and have longevity in the art without that mentality. because your parameters are going to have to change. Father Time is undefeated. That's it. You're going to get older. You're not going to be as strong 20 years from now that you are today, unless they come out with all kinds of great peptides that I haven't heard of yet. But yeah, you're going to have some type of acceptance of, my hips don't work the same way. My knee is, I got a torn meniscus. This one had surgery. My shoulder doesn't work right. My neck hurts if I look to the left. If you still have that expectation of what you were before all those injuries and when you were 20 years younger, and you expect your body to move in that way today, you're going to be disappointed. One of the sayings we say a lot in our Gracie survival tactics courses, and the first time I heard, I don't know if it originated from Howard Steele, but the first person that I heard say it in a course was Howard Steele. So I'll give him credit for, at least for where I heard it from, is the distance between unrealistic expectations and reality is disappointment. That's the distance.
I like that.
Okay. So if you have unrealistic expectations, but the reality is way over here, there's a lot of room for disappointment. But if you make your expectations a little bit more realistic and closer to reality, then there's less room for disappointment. And I think that's hugely true in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just again, from my own journey, right? Because I've been in this a long time.
Yeah.
Right. No breaks, no nothing, like 20, almost 26 years now. Two things. I'll cycle back to, we talked about comparing yourself to somebody else. And then we're talking about accepting your current reality. Like, what is your current reality, right? And staying in love with the reason you started. So there's three things that I think I can communicate that hopefully people go, oh, I understand what he's saying and learn from it, right? So the first one is comparison. I still today, every training session, compare myself to every individual in the room, but not in the way most people would expect. I compare my experience to where they're at. Okay, so Jeff at purple belt, competitor, mean, nasty, right? I compare myself to where Nick is right now. And I say, okay, what experiences did I have at that level that I can give to Nick, right? And then I can do that to a blue belt in the room, and I can do that to a white belt in the room, and I can do that to a purple, right? Whatever it is. So I will compare myself. I will say, what, if I put myself in their shoes, what can I teach them?
But from the lens of a coach.
From the lens of a coach, right? So not, well, if I roll with him and I don't beat him, like, no, if I roll with one of these, especially now, the competition crew we have, I'm going to have a very difficult roll with these guys, especially if I try to keep a pace of competition.
Of course.
Right? The second thing would be staying in love, right? What was the reason? What was the reason I started jiu-jitsu? It was self-defense. It was watching the Gracie family,
right,
in '93 and beyond. Old videos of Gracie in action, all this. I said, man, I want to learn that. So I got into it for self-defense. Now I started doing the sport, loved it, competed at every belt level, but I never forgot why I loved jiu-jitsu so much. And to this day, we just did it recently. We did like an hour of standing self-defense.
Right.
And I even messaged you afterwards. I was like, man, I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Yeah, you're on a high.
I'm on a high. I love seeing jiu-jitsu in its sexy black dress. That to me is the sexy black dress. It's the Gracie jiu-jitsu. It's not sport grappling.
Right.
And so I consistently remind myself why I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And then acceptance of where you're at. And I remember the exact moment. So I had gotten my black belt and I said, I've competed at every level. I did 3 super fights at black belt with very different opponents, and it was calculated because I wanted to test my jiu-jitsu in different realms. So there were 3 very calculated different opponents. And I said, I'm done competing. The wrestling club started, and I was helping the wrestling club get started. I was working with the kids and they were getting ready for this big tournament called Mawas. And they kept grinding on me. Coach, do it. Come on, you wrestled. You're grinding on me, right? Now I'm 47 or 8 at this point. I haven't wrestled since high school. Now I've grappled, obviously. But,
right.
So I go into this tournament. My first opponent in the bracket is the current starter for Clarion University, D1 school.
Oh, geez.
And I'm just like, you got to be friggin' kidding me. Like, this is not what I signed up for.
Some guys have all the luck.
I wind up losing like 6-4, right? So it's not I didn't get pinned. It's not,
Right.
it's not the end of the world. But like, it taxed my body. Very next opponent, I shoot my takedown and I feel my shoulder just to this day, it doesn't work right? After that tournament, I was like, I am done competing.
Done, son.
Done. I'm done. I'm accepting that my body can't do this anymore, but my body can help other people in their jiu-jitsu journey.
There it is.
And that's where the comparison comes back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, let me compare myself now to these competitors and teach them from the errors of my ways.
And that goes back to what I was saying before, and this is the high-level instructor stuff that he's sharing with you now, because remember when I said you shouldn't just tell that white belt, no, don't do that. If he's comparing himself to where he was at white belt at that 6-month mark, white belt, he understands that, of course, he's going to do that. That's all he knows how to do.
Right.
So as an instructor, that makes him better, because he's not good. If he's comparing black belt, owner, lead instructor Jeff Reese to that white belt, everything is wrong.
Right.
Every move, that guy looks in a direction, it's wrong.
Of course.
Do you understand? But if he compares himself to that white belt to back when he was a white belt, now obviously he has more knowledge and he can guide that person to the right path. But that's high level instructor right there, because now he's not saying, no, don't do that, because he understands that's what I did back then. So
Right.
I have experience now. I could help guide that person in the right direction, or maybe let him make a little bit of mistakes on his own so he could realize it himself.
Yeah.
So that all comes back to teaching as well.
Yeah. Let's pivot, because there's so much I want to get to with you,
Yeah.
and we're starting to run a little long. So let's pivot back into veganism and animal rescue. You said you were doing animal rescue first, which led you to becoming a vegan, right? So where did the passion for animal rescue begin?
I'm honestly
Just something that was always in you as a kid? Like,
honestly, as a kid, I was always into animals. That was always something. I remember very early in my life, that was like, I think it was in elementary school. There was a kid who we were going to go to the circus, and there was a kid petitioning, like it was like third grade or something. She was petitioning that we shouldn't go to the circus because the animals are going to be abused. And I remember thinking, as a third grader, I'm like, what? What do you mean? They're just tigers jumping through fiery hoops.
Right,
You don't think
yes.
about it.
Tigers,
Yeah.
very dangerous.
Oh yes. And and so
Gotta
I'm
wear
like,
a mask on the other side of your head to deal with tigers. You understand?
oh yeah.
I'm not wearing a mask on the other side of my head. I'm not living anywhere where to get to the bathroom, I have to put a mask on the back of my head so a tiger doesn't kill me.
bang pots and pans.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And so
From the street, son.
So yeah, that stuff was like kind of growing up. I just always, I had moments growing up as a kid, and then I got into weightlifting, and I was like the biggest carnivore you could have ever met. I mean, I was eating tons of meat,
Chicken and rice.
all the time, minus the rice. I was just like,
Chicken and chocolate.
and
Pure protein.
and then, like I said, I had rescued this. It was a cardinal, and my one friend was like, "Well," and this was the moment, and he said, "Well, if you're going to rescue a cardinal and eat a chicken, what's the difference, right?" And I went, "Oh, they're
Here's
both
the
birds."
difference. Chickens are delicious.
Well, maybe cardinals are too.
I was
Yeah,
going to
that's
say,
we'll
there's
never
two
know.
paths that go,
Yeah,
right?
that's
It's like,
true.
let's throw the cardinal on the
maybe
spit
the
and see
cardinal
how it
tastes good
tastes.
too.
I don't know.
And so, I mean, as a weightlifter at the time, I was still very competitive at the time. And again, best of the worst or worst of the best, however you want to say. But I was right on the cusp of doing something somewhat impressive in the weightlifting world. But either way, I was very strong. And I got into it purely for ethical reasons. But I found that my performance was still moving in the same direction, but the biggest change that I found was in my recovery and my sleep. I found that I was sleeping a lot better. I felt like in between training sessions, I was training a lot more consistently. I didn't hit as many lows. and I felt the same level of energy going into every session. Whereas like when I was eating
Consistent
energy. Yeah. I also might attribute some of that to, cause I haven't had dairy. So I've been vegan 10 years. I haven't had dairy probably in about 14 years. And,
So no milkshakes, no chocolate malted milkshakes.
vegan ones, but yes.
Is there vegan malt?
Oh yeah.
Is it
There's
delicious?
vegan everything. Oh, it's incredible. I could take you places where you would be like, oh, holy shit, this is good. And you'd be totally unfazed. But
Okay.
I promise. But food has come a long way,
Yeah.
even in 10 years. And but yeah, that's what I found was just it because I've been an athlete since I was 20. I really found that it just works.
Yeah.
And it
For you.
yeah.
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 Yeah, and that's one of the things I admire. You know, I admire a lot about you, but I admire that you don't tend to force that view on other people, because I have other friends that are vegans that just, man, they will beat me with a freaking mallet over it. And I'm like, stop. Just stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
Like I'm not forcing my views on you of jiu-jitsu and
Right.
Oh, sorry.
you or me?
Listen, that was me. I smacked the thing. I'm getting ramped up because I'm like, listen,
My light went off.
I drag you to jiu-jitsu. You can drag me into veganism. It's,
Right.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, if you're gonna be an animal, if you're gonna rescue animals, start with not eating them.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's it's an ethical point of view.
Yeah.
And
Very common sense too.
Yeah.
what? So let's do like a 2-part question. Same question, but just 2 parts.
Yeah.
So somebody who was interested in maybe not becoming vegan, but eating less meat and maybe moving into some vegetarian diets, like a meatless Monday or something like that. What kind of advice would you give them?
Did you say meatless Monday?
Yeah, meatless
Yeah.
Monday.
I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Is that a
Meatless
thing?
Monday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah, meatless Monday.
Well, you just don't eat meat on Monday.
Yeah, you pick
Yeah.
one day a week. Yeah, you can
So it's
say
like-
Monday, but you can pick any day.
So it's like Lent year round.
Yeah, you could be like tasteless Tuesdays. No.
Yeah.
And the in the same vein, right? What would you do from a community standpoint where somebody's like, I would like to help with animal rescue, but I don't have like the full-time oomph.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
Okay, these are great questions.
Thank you.
Yes. How about that? Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice pat on the back.
Yep.
So for the first, yes.
There it is.
How do you remember which button is which one?
Man, I'm learning. Okay. I'm pretty good at it so far. I'll mess it up at some point.
The
but go ahead.
Pornhub one is at the bottom
Yeah,
right.
that's the bottom
but
one.
yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Hey,
Well, hey,
all
It
right.
fit.
Little egg,
All right.
egg on your face, am
Yeah.
I right?
Duck walks into a bar. No. Go ahead.
So for the first question, someone who is like, yeah, I don't want to be full-time vegan or anything, but like I'd like to eat less meat. I mean, not even just for ethics reasons. I mean, and I think one of the coolest reasons to not eat meat once a week is because you become a better cook and you adventure out into different stuff that you don't try.
Interesting.
Honestly, I am such a better cook than I ever was because of veganism. The food at my house, and not just, I mean, I don't always cook. My fiance cooks. She's also vegan. She's incredible. Anything she brings to a potluck, it all goes up. Like everyone takes it, right? I think it's just fun to explore with food. I think, especially in an American diet, in an American culture, we have, like, don't get me wrong, I love vegan versions, of course, but of all the American classics, I am a true red-blooded American.
Like cheeseburgers
Yeah.
and
Oh,
pizza
yeah.
and
Oh yeah, I can.
French fries. Is there vegan French fries or are they already
Well,
vegan?
French fries are already vegan, but yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah. So is beer, but so
Well, you convinced me.
yeah. How about that?
Sold.
But yeah,
All right.
but I think purely just from like a place of fun and exploration. Like even if you take the health out of it, you take the ethics out of it, just like, man, let me just try something new. And doing that, I think, is really fun and interesting, especially in a relationship, like a marriage or whatever. You guys get to like pick something new, cook it together. That's my piece of advice is go into it with excitement, and then you will find new recipes and new things that you want to try. If you're really stuck though, sometimes the best thing to do is like, hey, every Monday I eat whatever, I make myself a burrito. Just look up a vegan burrito recipe.
Right.
You don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to eat a block of tofu and rice just to try it out. You can just, if you want to dip your toes in, not that I think eating the mock meats is a good thing, but it's a treat. It's one of those things that you treat yourself to, right? I typically eat as much whole food plant-based as I can. I try not to eat all the processed stuff. But for the animal activist thing, okay, this is my favorite question. Because I rant about this like an old man yelling at the sky. I think every person, every homeowner, I should say, should own a live animal trap. That's it.
A live animal trap.
Yep. In every community, there are stray cats that need fixing. Yep. There are stray cats that need a little bit of medical assistance. There are sometimes like wildlife that, I mean, I've taken stuff to Pocono Wildlife before. I've captured 2 hawks on the side of the road. I've taken in possums. I've taken in groundhogs that are just like not looking right. You have a live animal trap. Every homeowner should have one. And when you see an animal in need, trap it and get it help.
How do you know that a possum or opossum, because both are accepted,
yes, they are,
is not looking right? Because those things don't look right, man.
Oh, I love possums. I think they're so cute.
We trapped one in our backyard, as a matter of fact. Now, I don't know where my wife got the trap. Her sister lives in the country. That's probably where she got it from her.
Yeah.
But she trapped an opossum that was living under the shed. But man, how do you know if an opossum is like having a bad day?
You see them limping. You see like,
You just ask it.
you know, sometimes in the winter
I'm not
they
getting
get
close enough to ask it.
Sometimes they get frostbite. You know,
You ever
like
see the teeth on those things?
oh, they're awesome. I
if
love
you
them.
say so.
They're North
They're not
America's
awesome if they're sunk into your calf.
they're North America's only marsupial. I think they're so cool.
didn't know
It
that
is
fact.
still a marsupial, sir. What was that?
Yes.
Wasn't that Jerky Boys?
Jerky Boys?
Yeah.
They were great.
Was that
They are
post-
both marsupials, sir.
Was that pre 1989? I'm not sure.
That would have been, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
They were the best.
That would have been. Yeah, they used to make prank phone
marsupials.
calls.
Yeah, or just volunteer. I volunteer at Indraloka Animal Sanctuary every Sunday in Dalton, and I have done tons of volunteering at Street Cats in Scranton. I think, you know, again, one of those things you can just do for excitement. You just like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of pigs and help clean up the stall and then like get some enjoyment around being around animals.
I did that a lot in my 20s. Hung out with a bunch of pigs.
Whoa.
All
All right, come on. Where's the, come on. All right, there we go.
There it is. Oh, my God.
Okay, I'll get
missed
some
the
hate
button
for
on
that in
that
the
one.
comments. I'll get some. That's old Jeff. That's not Disney
right.
Jeff. That's not Disney
He's
Jeff.
evolved
He's evolved.
slightly.
So let's start wrapping up with our rapid fire around the room questions. We did this with Jordan, and it kind of went well. I thought we had some good stuff.
I'm too analytical to go rapid fire, but go ahead. I'll try it again.
Favorite post-training meal?
Oh, when I go home, I do soy milk, frozen mango, protein powder, ice, and a little bit of peanut butter powder. And that's like the most refreshing thing right after training. It's not too heavy. It's nice and cool, especially in the summer. You get the fruit. Oh my God. Yeah.
Sushi.
Sushi. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
because I fast, so I don't eat till later, and I train in the morning. So it's not like I'm eating or having a shake like right after my workout. But I feel, and it's weird, especially jiu-jitsu. I don't know if I started doing it when we were on Kaiser. I remember like I was like after that Thursday class, I would hit sushi on the way home, and maybe that's why. But after a good training session, I crave sushi for my dinner. Yeah,
nice.
Sushi it is for me.
I can honestly
I'm gonna
say
try to get it
I
tonight.
don't have a favorite. I just like to go and cook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you like to cook after you train?
Yeah, it's just like that to me is decompression. So I don't really have like a favorite meal. It's just like I want to cook something,
Yeah.
and then whatever I come up with.
Yeah, cool.
You already know our answers for this: ghee or no ghee?
Ghee.
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 Come on,
It's a
son.
bald thing.
Come on,
Or
son.
sorry,
really
a
is.
shaved head thing.
Yeah, shaved head.
Shaved head.
Oh, I can't wait to inlay that picture of my hair helmet into
Yep.
this podcast.
Please.
Coffee
Can't
or tea?
wait.
Coffee.
I don't like either.
No, really.
Not a coffee guy, not a tea guy.
I'm a tea guy.
I'm a caffeine person.
Whoa.
love tea.
I thought this was going to be another 3-person or coffee.
No,
I don't like coffee.
I actually do not like. I love the smell of coffee.
Me too.
I hate the taste of coffee.
Agreed.
I have 1 cup of black coffee in the morning. That's it. But if I don't have that, then,
Give me a cup of green tea or Earl Grey. I'm happy.
And I've tried every type of coffee, like, mocha, chocolate, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
And it just tastes like coffee to me.
Makes me gag. Yeah. Makes me
not a
gag.
fan.
Favorite animal? You might have already answered this. Favorite animal?
Oh, geez. I would say, oh, God, I think the opossum is my favorite.
A dog, of course.
I'm a dog.
Yeah,
I'm a dog
guy.
Well, if we're going domestic, I'm going cat.
Oh, yeah, let's go wild and domestic.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So wild, that would be possum.
Wolf.
Wolf.
I love wolves.
I mean, how about that?
I love the sharks. Shark Week is my jam.
I love wolves.
Love Shark Week. Anything shark. Domestic would be dog. How about you?
I would. It's so
Cat
hard.
guy?
I have cats and dogs. I would pick cats though.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't trust cats.
No, me neither.
They
Me
eat
neither,
you.
and I love that.
I love that I can't trust them.
Me neither.
One word that your friends would use to describe you.
Which friends?
Yeah, right. Which friends? Yeah.
I would say dependable.
Loyal. That's mine.
Yeah. Mine is secretive.
Yeah,
We've had this.
tracks.
We've had this conversation a lot. I hold things very, very close to my chest. But I'm the guy you're going to call to bury a body to because I can keep a secret.
I mean,
I got things.
It works both ways.
I got things in the vault that are never coming out.
We call, and that's like, I almost said that, and instead it's kind of like interchangeable, but we call that solid.
Solid, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's solid. That could be solid. Could mean a couple different things, but that could mean they can keep it secret. That could mean that they're dependable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good all-encompassing word. So if I had to answer that again, I would say solid.
Yeah, that's definitely come up a lot in some of our conversations where, because you make fun of it. You're like, Jeff, you're talking to him and he's just looking at you.
Yeah.
And he's shaking his head. And you're not going to get anything out of him. Yeah. So,
Nope.
Dream vacation spot.
I would say cabin in the middle of Vermont, or dark forest in Germany.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Nice.
For me, it'd be Italy. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, you haven't been there yet.
So I want to go to Italy.
Yeah, everybody knows mine. Mine's Disney World.
Yeah. That was 18 times a year.
Yeah. Favorite movie or TV show? Favorite movie or TV show?
Current or any
Any,
time?
of all time.
Oh, boy.
Geez, I don't know how lame and geeky I should get here because I am an anime fan. I say for movie, honestly, and I don't know why, it just sticks with me. Interstellar. I love Interstellar.
Is that who was in that? Matthew McConaughey? Yeah, I think I saw that.
And then I guess still in the same vein for McConaughey, if I had to pick a TV show, I would pick True Detective. If I'm going no anime, being a regular person, season 1 only, there is no other season.
No other seasons.
Never
True
watched it.
Detective.
Oh, you need to watch season 1.
Never watched
Chuck, you got to watch season 1.
People tell me it's great, but
Just season 1. Don't venture any further.
Season 1, the end.
what do you mean? So there's more seasons and they're not
4
good?
seasons.
There's 4. Each season is its own story. They don't connect. So you just watch season 1.
Okay.
It's not even that long. It's incredible. Totally.
It's changing now because like these new shows are so good. But if you asked me like 4 years ago, I would have said I love the Sons of Anarchy. I loved it. I was into motorcycles then. I don't have a motorcycle currently, but I had one for a long time, and I just thought the acting on that show was great. And man, like if it's in my opinion, if it's a great show, there were times at the end of the episode because back then like they were coming out weekly. I'll never forget. I would watch it. And it came on at like 10 o'clock at night, so it was late at night, and my wife would be sleeping, or Nico would be sleeping, or whatever. I don't even know. Nico probably wasn't even alive when that show was on, but I remember I would sit there and I would watch it, and at the end of the show, like credits, I would go like this, like out loud by myself in the room, like, "Oh my God!" And maybe the words were different. Maybe it was holy, right? You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
But like that's. To me, if that could make you say that after the show wrap like is over for the episode. Like that's a good show. That show for me was Sons of Anarchy. But now like Landman is out and like all the Taylor Sheridan stuff, Mayors of Kingstown. Man, they're just there's the TV shows are basically just
movies,
weekly movies. Yeah, because that's the quality of production and the acting that's in them now.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
but Sons of Anarchy was awesome.
No hesitation. The Princess Bride.
Yeah, you said that before.
I've seen that literally thousands of times. I just watched it again Monday. I watch it. My wife's like, "What are you watching?
That's a
this
TV show?
again?" No, I said movie or TV show.
Oh wait, if we're talking movies,
Godfather.
Come on.
Oh, well, yeah.
Come on, son.
The Godfather.
Yeah, I thought you said TV show.
No, movie or TV show.
Oh, movie then. Well, my TV show would have been Sons of Anarchy, but
Yeah.
my movie's The Godfather.
Yeah, it's
One
just like Princess
or two.
Bride. Just
Three's
perfect.
not the
No,
Godfather.
Perfect
three's
movie.
no.
Perfect
One,
movie. And start to finish. If they were ever going to remake that, I would start a petition.
Yeah. All right then.
I would start
I would sign it.
violent riots.
I'd sign it.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes. It'd be like storming the Capitol, wherever they were going to produce it.
Yeah.
I'd storm it.
I'd be right there behind
I'd
you,
show
yep.
up. I'd show up with my 4 horses, and I'd be like, "I have these 4 horses in case we meet the lady." "Oh, hello, lady," and then storm the castle.
I have no idea what you're talking
Yes.
about.
You have to watch that movie, son.
Yes. Did you watch The Godfather yet?
Yeah, I watched all 3 of them.
Oh, the third one's horrible.
Well, you got to watch it.
Yeah, you got to experience it.
I heard that they're actually considering doing a Godfather 4, and like true fans of The Godfather are like, please don't. You already
just leave it
ruined
alone.
You already
Just
ruined it with
leave
3.
it alone. Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Yes.
Let it lie.
Yes. If you weren't in your current profession, this will be our last question.
Okay.
What would you have done? Or what?
A lawyer.
Lawyer?
He stole my answer.
Yeah,
My parents wanted me to be a lawyer because I was very good arguing.
You know,
I tell my son the same thing. Gee, I wonder where he got it from. But like my parents used to say, you should be a lawyer. And I thought about it for a while, but you know, I didn't want to sit behind a desk. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just want a little bit more action. And I got to do the lawyer side in police work because you know when you prepare complaints and you arrest people, you have to go to court afterwards. So you get to kind of play a lawyer too sometimes. But yeah, I would have been a lawyer if it wasn't police work.
yeah.
I would be teaching. I mean,
that
I
makes
teach
sense.
now, but I would be in the school
You'd be
system.
a
Like in the
yeah.
school
Yes,
system, like an educator.
Yeah, I'd be an educator
College
in the school
or high
system.
school or grade school.
Well,
yeah.
Like kindergarten.
No,
Jeff, the kindergarten
No, I would not
teacher.
do kindergarten.
No, it would definitely be.
Jeff,
It would
the
definitely be
kindergarten teacher.
high
I like
school
that.
or
I'm trying to
higher
find a
education.
sound effect. Jeff.
It would have a lot of swear words.
The kindergarten teacher. I don't know. That sounds weird.
No way. No way. No way I could do it. Nope. I don't. Anybody who's a kindergarten, preschool teacher, even in the elementary 1 through 5, I God bless
Mad
them.
respect.
Mad respect.
But why
God
you
bless
then,
them.
but how does that explain how you're so good teaching kids class then? If you wouldn't do that, why are
The
you so
shortened
good?
period of time.
Oh, you only have them for an
I
hour.
only have them for an hour.
That makes sense.
I only have them for an hour.
Because I say that all the time. Nobody's better with the kids than him. Period. You know what I mean? So at least locally.
Yeah.
And
The parents give that feedback too. They're like, "You're great with the kids and this and this."
And like-
it's only because it's an hour.
yeah.
Right.
And that's one area of instruction that I never dipped my toe in. You know what I
Really?
mean? I've taught police officers, I've taught civilians, I've taught women, I've taught teenagers, adults obviously, but you know, he knows not even to ask. I don't know. I don't have not that I don't have an interest. I don't know who's better than him at it.
It's the same in therapy. You talk to clinicians, and there are clinicians that have a very strong, like, no kids. I will not see kids.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So they have to send them to someone who specializes in children.
Yeah, maybe they don't have to specialize, but yeah, like you at least need to have an interest in working
Right.
with kids because there are clinicians that's just like, you know, there are some agencies and like private practices where if you say that you'll take kids, the chances of you getting hired go way up because they're like, oh my God, we have nobody that wants to work with like the
Yeah.
7-year-olds. Typically it's like 12 and up. A lot of clinicians will do anything under 12. Nah, not doing it. I'll work with kids. I like working with kids, but you know, you really have to reach into the depths of your soul sometimes
Yeah.
to really get through multiple sessions in a row with children. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, and there's good days and there's bad days, and there's days they have meltdowns, and their days they're the cutest, and It's a lot though.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, kids are a lot. So
Yeah, you're good at it.
I try.
Yeah.
I try. Well, sir, thank Mr. Mayor. We
Mr.
didn't
Mayor,
get
yes.
to that, but Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us. And I know
We done?
I know.
This guy's always cutting us off.
I know, but
I could talk to this guy for 4 more hours.
4 more hours. Listen, it's got to be in the sweet spot. You know, we're not Joe Rogan yet.
Yeah, we're trying to
Not
keep
Joe
the
Rogan
algorithm going.
Got to keep the algorithm
That's right.
driving. You know.
How about, hold on, this is one more thing. How about coaching aspects?
Just one more thing.
Just one more thing. How about coaching aspects in jiu-jitsu now that you're a big old purple belt?
Aspirations.
Aspirations. You know, I know you were a coach.
Yep.
So how about coaching in jiu-jitsu? Is that something that interests you?
Yeah, I talked to Jeff a little bit about it. I mean, I've done some of the fundamentals courses or classes here and there, and yeah, now that I'm at this level, I'm itching to coach because you know that was the biggest thing when I left coaching for counseling. It was definitely the right move for me in every way except one. I liked coaching, and then I lost that, you know.
Right.
So I'm very interested in, I think, starting with white belts and then working my way up to blue
teaching
belts.
the fundamentals
Yeah.
and what you know, and I mean, it's just. I find it fun helping people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fulfilling.
No, I'd be
helping people.
I'd be excited to start working privates and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. You're on our short list.
There we go. Short list.
Yeah.
Very short list.
Of our coaching development program.
All right, sir. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Much
having me.
appreciated.
How do you salute a mayor?
Salute a mayor?
What do we do?
It's a salute
Or is
followed
it a
by
fist bump?
It's a salute followed by $100 bill. Every time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's how it works.
Is that wait? You're not in loser?
Greasing the wheels.
Lackawanna, maybe? I don't know. All right.
That's how it works.
All right, guys.
Did we mention where you're a mayor of?
Dalton.
Oh,
Dalton, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Most up and coming town in Northeast Pennsylvania, as
You heard it here first.
described by me.
Cool. Oh,
and it's not
self-proclaimed.
just
Self-proclaimed.
Harrison saying it. Other people are saying it.
Other people are saying
Other
it.
people are saying it.
All right, I'm going to go there. What can I expect when I drive through Dalton? Being from a metropolitan city like Pittston, so when I drive through Dalton, what should I expect? Is there cows?
There might
or-
be some cows. You'll expect to see me because my house is right off the main drag.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's not tell people where you live.
Yeah, well, whatever. They'll find me.
Okay.
It's public information, I think. So, you'll see me, and then you'll see a really awesome cafe. You'll see a couple of cute shops, and you'll see small town America almost frozen in time. But
Really, like Honesdale,
yes,
Winter Wonderland.
yes. But almost in the same vein of Honesdale because they've had a huge, revival.
Yes.
And Dalton is going through something very similar.
Oh, really?
Slowly, but yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Check Dalton out. I'm going.
Put it on the bucket list.
I'm going.
Do it.
There's snakes.
There's
There's
snakes.
snakes.
Oh, here we go.
There's snakes.
There's wildlife. There's opossums.
And also possums.
There's possums
both
there.
accepted.
Yeah.
There's both.
There's
Yeah.
everything there.
All right, then.
everything's there.
I'm
Yeah.
going. I'm going road trip. Road trip, fellas.
30 minutes.
Yeah. It's 30 minutes north of the great city of Pittston?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is it a borough or a village?
Hold on. We're wrapping it
borough.
up. We're wrapping it up for real now. All right.
Hand on the shoulder. That's enough.
Share, follow. All right. Harrison shared so many interesting stories with us. I think everybody can benefit in one aspect of some of these stories, if not all aspects of the stories he told here. So please like, share, comment, and gentlemen, thank you for sitting down and
thank
spending
you.
time with me.
Great. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Good.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Double
Boom,
at the same
boom.
time.
All right. Peace.
See ya.